And I got a break because I had it at 3.5, and he scored the touchdown at the end. Thank God for that.
Here you go.
It always comes down to that.
It always comes down to that. You're a degenerate.
The bottom line is.
Degenerate.
All right, welcome back to another show. We are back, post-Christmas show. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Hopefully, you were able to make some cash, some bets on Christmas Day. We had a lot of good sports Christmas, 2 NFL games that were not particularly competitive or entertaining, but doesn't matter if they're competitive, you can still bet on them. Then obviously we had NBA, and we'll continue with the picks as we do every week. 3 picks against the spread for all 3 of us. 1 1-point pick, 1 2-point pick, 1 3-point pick. So I got 1 point in the chamber with the Chiefs covering against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But besides that, coming off of a rough week last week personally, Flex another 2-1 week. He keeps the fire rolling, staying in first place. The box, of course, 2-1 again. Also, back to it. Word Life gets 2 points. Cowboys cover. A little bit of a down tick from last week, but now you and I are tied up. Well, actually, no, I went up 1 point because of that 1 pick, but we finished last week tied up. But that puts Mr. Flex, Mr. Wonderful, Mr. 23-22. Got to stay above 500, baby. Let's go. Let's see what we got. Let's start it off with a Vegas pick first.
So my Vegas ain't slick pick last week. I know it's confusing. Like I was even confused myself, but I did pick the Chiefs. But the Chiefs have played 2 games since then, so when I looked at it, I was a little thrown off. But we did cover the -3.5 last week. This week, we're going with the Buccaneers giving 8.5 points against the Carolina Panthers. Like I said, no analysis. Doesn't make sense. The Panthers coming off that victory last week, and the Buccaneers putting up a no-show against the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, you would think that spread should be a little bit, a little bit in the other direction, but the Buccaneers giving 8.5 points when it doesn't seem like they should be giving it. That's why we're gonna make it our Vegas ain't slick pick this week. Buccaneers giving 8.5 inexplicably to the Carolina Panthers. For my 1-point pick, we're going with the Chicago Bears getting 4.5 points against the Seahawks. It's just one of those things where like I like to feel this team out. They go up and down. They didn't look good last week. And just Caleb Williams, man, like you see how his season is panning out. At the end of the day, his numbers aren't as bad as what the record for the Bears dictates, and he doesn't play as bad as like what the narrative says he does. Like as bad as he is. He doesn't really throw that many interceptions. I think he has 5 at the moment. It does look off a little bit when he's when he's going against good defenses, but I don't particularly think that the Seahawks are a great defense, and they do have a good Devon Witherspoon is a very good cornerback in the secondary. I just think that the Bears have enough weapons that they can spread the ball around, and that's why I'm going to make the Bears my 1-point pick against the Seattle Seahawks, getting 4.5. My 2-point pick. I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders as a team that's just dumb enough to keep winning games. I know this probably means that, that they're still in it. They're still playing hard for Antonio Pierce. I know last year that they kind of rallied around him and kind of got him to keep the job. It's very clear that this team is not very good, but they're going against another bad team. And when other teams have kind of shut it down, Antonio Pierce kind of just has that intensity that he's still playing like he thinks he has a chance to, coaching like he still has a chance to keep this job. So I think he's going to be dialed in, and they already tanked their chances at one of the top 2 picks. They went from number 1 overall to, I think, 6 overall with their win against the Jaguars. So they're not in the range to get a quarterback. At this point, I think, it could be one of those moves where just like Lovie Smith did with the Texans a couple years ago, where he kind of won the game out of spite. I think maybe he's coaching out of spite if he knows he's out. If not, I just think that the Raiders still are kind of showing a little bit, a little toughness, and that they haven't kind of packed it in for the rest of the season, even though they're bad. So give me the Raiders giving 1 point as my 2-point pick. And this one I switched on because I'm going to play as my 3-point pick. I'm banking on Jalen Hurts maybe not playing, maybe sitting out, considering that, maybe they think that their chances are kind of locked in and what their seed is going to be. Give me the Dallas Cowboys getting 7 points over the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know, man. I just think that we saw last week that Mike McCarthy is still a good coach, even though he's not a great coach. But I just feel like he's still, I don't know. I guess he's still kind of like he has it. He still kind of gets a little bit out, enough out of these players. Cooper Rush did okay last week. I know they don't have CeeDee Lamb. They kind of ruled them out for the rest of for the last 2 games, but I don't know. The running game has been decent. They have been spreading the ball around. So I don't know. This is just one of those games where it's 7 points. It's a division game. The Eagles might not have their quarterback. We saw what happened when he went out last week and Kenny Pickett came in. Everything changed. Well, Bobby very well knows how everything flipped the moment that Kenny Pickett came in, and I'm gonna bank on that as my 3-point pick. So give me the Dallas Cowboys, who haven't mailed it in yet, and I think they keep it closer than 7 points this week.
All right, with my 1-point pick, I'm gonna bite the fruit, man. I'm gonna bite the fruit, God. I'm gonna go with Atlanta getting 4 at the Commies. A little poison don't hurt nobody, as they like to say.
Well, I don't. Who likes to say that? Somebody who's never had poison before is the only person who's.
I feel like some Dominican grandmother used that at some point in her life.
No, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. That. See, I didn't consider that.
Anyway, give me Atlanta. Commies had a real rough game last week. I feel like it took a lot out of them. Atlanta still got something to fight for. I think they might have a little juice in there with a Penix, though I'm with H on the jumping on the Penix wing and thinking that's the be all to their issues. I don't agree with that as much, but I do think that a second week against a Commies team that gave that emptied the tank last week to cover 4, I think is reasonable, and I like the number. So for Atlanta getting 4, Penix to take that college rookie quarterback challenge and show up. So give me Atlanta for my 1-point pick getting 4. With my 2-point pick, this was tough because this is like the two teams that I really like outside of my team. But I'm gonna go with Minnesota home dogs. If the number didn't change from when I did this an hour ago.
Yes, sir. Getting 1 point.
Getting 1 point. I think it's a tough one. It's obviously it's a tough one to pick them, but I'm gonna lean Minnesota just because I think the defense will step up, and they're at home. So a lot of me wanted to go with Green Bay because of that defense, the performance last week, but that home advantage I think is gonna show up here. It's a game that I think they both want. I think Green Bay. I think Love just puts the ball in danger too much right now against a well schemed Minnesota team. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Give me Minnesota, the home dog, and everybody. And I feel like you guys are gonna give me something that I'm missing here. Am I missing something? Is there injury or something? Okay, cool.
I just love the pick.
Because I see you looking at me like ready to jump in. So
I'm just saying, like, yo, like the way that people talk up Jordan Love still as if he doesn't have any deficiencies is crazy to me.
But that's what this is, though. That's what this NFL has become. It's like everyone's just looking at the quarterback to give him props. No one's looking at the quarterback with real glasses on. Or it might be.
I think. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
No, I think that's just part of like the NFL, like feeding the people. Like, push that narrative. So then when people hear Jordan Love, oh well, Jordan Love's not Daniel Jones. Yeah, Jordan Love. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Jaden Daniels. Oh yeah. They push the quarterback A because he's the star of the show, and B so fans could just lean towards the better quarterback, or an illusion of the better quarterback. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that I think a little bit of sprinkle on top of what adds to that is that everybody hates Rodgers. I think that the fact, no, I'm being serious. I think the fact that I think people really wanted him to be good when Rodgers left to kind of validate the decision to move away from him and shit, and just I feel like if he was stepping into the shoes of your traditional long time great quarterback, people will be way harder on him. But I feel like just generally people are rooting for him and don't want to talk about him being bad because of the whole succeeding Rodgers thing. Yeah, I don't think that's the only reason, but I think it adds to it.
I'm sure it does, especially for Green Bay fans. But just to recap, I'm going Minnesota, getting one at home against Green Bay. I think the home field advantage will show up here, but I expect that to be a real good game. So give me Minnesota again, one at home. With my 3-point pick, this what I thought might have been a Vegas Saints slick pick here. And I feel like when I see these things, I wonder what am I missing? But I'm gonna go with Detroit Lions at Niners, giving 3.5. Detroit's just, I don't know. I mean, the Niners they showed their ass last week. I mean, they've been showing us who they are, and it's kind of that narrative. They believe who they are, and the Niners are not good. You know what I mean? Against a Detroit team that depending on this Green Bay Minnesota game, they might, things could get shaky there. But I think Detroit still wants to play, still wants to beat up on bad teams, and that's what they've been doing all year. Campbell is liable to just pour it on. So yeah, man, Detroit's just a better team. The Niners stink. So give me Detroit, giving 3.5 to
Niners 1-6 ever since Nick Bosa flexed that MAGA hat at the post game.
Good for them.
Yeah,
good for them.
Tough deal.
Yep.
All right. So as I said earlier, 1 point I took the Chiefs on Christmas Day. Unfortunately, we record on Thursday, so when the NFL decides to put together an inhumane slate of games on a Wednesday late in December. We don't get to put our picks on air for that game, but I did like the Chiefs just taking on the Steelers team that was coming off of a brutal game against the Ravens, as they tend to be on a short week. Obviously, especially short week on a Wednesday, so I just felt like that was just going to be a dead spot for the Steelers. So I took the Chiefs, and that was my 1 point pick. 2 points. This has not gone well for me this season, but you know what? At this point, who the fuck cares? Let's go for it once again. I'm going to go on guard flex. On guard, my friend. I'm going to take the Saints. I don't... A lot of reasons why.
The Rattler Snake?
The Rattler Snake, that's right. The Rattler Snake is slithering around. I like to take teams coming off of big, embarrassing losses. Saints were the first team to get shut out this year on Monday night against the Packers, in a game that not a lot of people watched because it was just terrible and disgusting. But, the Saints got highly embarrassed last week. I like to take teams coming off of bad, embarrassing losses. And I like to take the Raiders coming off of a win because I don't expect them to win 2 back-to-back games really ever. So they would have to win to cover this spread. I don't expect them to go back-to-back wins. And I just feel like I think this is also kind of partially based off of having watched the Saints, not last week, obviously, against the Packers, but the previous 2 weeks, actually, when they went into MetLife Stadium and took on the Giants. I thought that they were dead in that game, and they showed fight. I mean, they're not a good team, but they beat the Giants on the road in a spot where I thought that they were dead. And then the previous week, they almost took out Washington. The following week, they almost took out Washington at home. They're just a team that, for whatever reason, they're much feistier than I expected them to be, having losing their coach, getting fired. This interim coach has them playing hard for whatever reason. Obviously, they found themselves in a tough spot last week going into Green Bay in the freezing cold against a team that is just much better than them. But I don't think the Raiders are much better than them. And I think that they'll want to put together a good game at home. And I'm still, despite the Raiders winning that game last week against Jacksonville, I'm not certain that the Raiders aren't still tanking. So I don't know how motivated they're even going to be to win this game. I can't trust in the Raiders at all. I mean, I understand your reasoning for picking them, but I just feel like I've seen a lot more in the last month from the Saints than I have from the Raiders. And again, I just don't see the Raiders winning back-to-back games, and I like taking the Saints coming off of a horrible loss like that. So I'm going to take the Saints at home. I was going to make it part of my moneyline parlay, but I figured, what the hell? We're coming down the stretch, end of the year. We might as well go on guard and have some excitement this weekend. And what is more exciting? What is more exciting than Saints Raiders right now? You're not going to find a more exciting game on the NFL slate. So let's really get heavily invested in some Saints Raiders, some Rattler O'Connell. I think it's going to be a real barn burner. So I'm going to take the Saints for my 2 points.
So you burn the barn down?
Exactly. It's like when you fucking trying to get that insurance money and you arson. It's a real arson fucking burner. And for my 3 point pick, oh man, it's a tough one. I'm gonna have to go. No, I can't do 2 losing things that I've done all season long in the same fucking week. I was gonna take the Jets, but that has not gone well for me. I'm not gonna take the Jets. I'm gonna take Word Life's boy Joe Burrow. I'm gonna swing I'm gonna swing with the Bengals one last time.
It's a good one. That's
Broncos are a little spooky, man. I still am not. We talked about this actually last week when you took the Broncos against the Chargers. I mean, we've made our feelings in the Broncos, or at least I feel like I've made my feelings in the Broncos known. I'm still not 100% sold. I think they have a tough defense, but I just feel like the Bengals, them making this game really puts their playoff scenarios, makes them more realistic. I feel like for a while they were just kind of seemingly playing out the stretch, but I feel like this game right here, this is the game that kind of can start or spark whatever playoff run they think that they can make. And it seems to me like they really are starting to really believe that they can somehow sneak in. And to tell you the truth, if they sneak in, I wouldn't want to take on the Bengals if they somehow find a way to make it into the playoffs. As bad as that defense is, Joe Burrow is putting on an MVP type performance this year very quietly. Obviously, he won't really be in consideration because of the team's record, but he seems pretty lights out. They have their full complement of weapons. Even Yosevaz seems to be kind of getting more involved in the offense. I don't know if that's a function of he's the expected replacement for T. Higgins, so they're getting him more involved. I don't know.
Warming him up.
It seems that way. It just seems like I think the Bengals offense will be able to do enough against a good Broncos defense, but I think that their offense will be able to do enough. And I for whatever reason, I just feel like this is more just a feel for I'm just trusting Joe Burrow finding a way to win this game. And I don't like giving up the hook with the 3.5, but I just trust that the Bengals are going to find a way to win this game with their playoff hopes kind of dwindling and just on the line. So that's really what I'm going with, and the favorites have been historically covering this season. I like to take dogs. I wanted to go with the Jets, but I'm going to kind of try to flip my logic. I'm going to take the short favorite, and I'm going to take the Bengals, and I'm going to give 3.5 for the 3-point pickaroni. And then to start off the moneyline parlay draft, I'm going to take bump. Give me the Washington Commanders.
Oh, nice.
Washington.
Give moi. Give me Minnesota.
Give me the Falcons.
Guard.
Give me the Cincinnati Bengals.
Nice. Give me Jacksonville.
Attaboy. Home team. Win one for the home team.
That's right.
Give me Cleveland.
Yeah, read my mind.
All right, with that said, I'm going to go with the favorites by 7 at home, Philadelphia Eagles.
For the last pick, I'm going to go with the Chargers.
All right, first pick for the box, and let's get it going against Philadelphia. Box is taking the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh,
Let's go.
nice.
Well, it didn't look good. It wasn't good for me last week because that was my 3-point pick, the Cowboys, and that was their 1-point pick, and that's the only one they got wrong.
Oh, wow. The New York Giants.
Wow, to cover?
The New York
Gigantes.
Giants.
To
at
only
home
cover.
To cover.
Did the box
against
write it in the back of the ball?
Colts.
To only cover?
The box only does covers. That's all it knows. It doesn't know anything
okay.
about winning. Doesn't all it knows is the spread.
All right, cool.
Last but not least, what do we have here?
Vikings.
Okay, this is the Steelers. That doesn't count because they already played.
Yeah.
Wow, how about that? Cleveland Browns plus
Ooh.
6.5.
How about that?
All right. Well,
Who
we
will
shall
play
see
this
what
week?
happens. We shall see. Good luck to everybody this weekend, and Happy New Year, because by the time you see us again, it will be 2025. And let's get this money.
Happy New Year.
Feliz nuevo año. Easy.